Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta, and we're joining you live with this broadcast from CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. The reservation debate, an issue that has been a raging one throughout this politically surcharged election season, has once again turned the poll pot, this time in Bengal. Just who should get OBC quota is the question, and a gauntlet of sorts that has been thrown down the opposition's way by the Prime Minister himself leading the BJP. The focus is firmly on West Bengal and the TMC as the final phase of voting nears, days after Calcutta High Court struck down a series of orders passed by the West Bengal government between March 2010 and May 2012, by way of which 77 communities, 75 of which were Muslims, were given reservation under OBC category. The central body of Backward Commission is now also mulling action. Chairman of the NCBC has revealed that just before 2014 general elections in February, UPA government added 37 castes from West Bengal in the central OBC list. Out of these, 35 were Muslim castes. Remember, 34 of these have now been struck down by the Calcutta High Court. BJP has led the tirade against all opposition parties, showcasing how from Karnataka to Andhra to Bengal to Kerala, Congress and other parties have used religion as a criteria to give quotas, all this while snatching the rightful share of real OBCs. While the opposition has hit back with its own polarization jibe at the PM and the BJP, the real question remains, are reservations being used to feed a vote bank? Have Muslim castes particularly been added to the OBC list over the last few decades in state after state purely for votes? We'll take that question to our guests in just a bit. First up, let's take a look at what the Calcutta High Court ordered last week and how that order is now creating political ripples, which potentially could lead to action by the National Commission for Backward Classes as well. Now, on May 23rd last week, the Calcutta High Court struck down Section 16 of the West Bengal Backward Classes Act 2012, which gave the state government powers to decide OBC lists. A few days later now, we are getting to know that central body of the NCBC is also planning to scrutinize the central list of OBCs, particularly the castes overlapping from West Bengal. The High Court order implied that certificates to 34 Muslim castes given OBC status by the TMC in 2012 stand cancelled. Meanwhile, 35 of these 37 castes were given OBC status by the UPA government from West Bengal in the central list, and now that has come under the scanner of the NCBC. Remember, court's order nullifies as many as 5 lakh OBC certificates issued since 2010 in West Bengal. Some of these classes were added by the previous left government and some were added by the TMC government. Now the recognition of these nullified castes could be scrapped by the centre too. The Muslim community plays a very key role in 20 of the 42 Lok Sabha constituencies in West Bengal and has the capacity to influence the electoral outcome. Here on the map, we have highlighted the constituencies that have more than 20% Muslim vote share, and you can also see the results from the 2019 general elections. The TMC swept 14 of these with a 45% vote share. The BJP won 4, the Congress 2. And in fact, out of these, there are 8 constituencies that are actually those constituencies where the Muslim population is as high as 40% or more. In those, TMC won 4 of those, the BJP won 2 and the Congress won 2. Just a reminder of how lopsided the West Bengal government OBC list was before the court order nullified many of the castes added post 2010. The West Bengal government provides 17% OBC reservation, but that has been divided into 2 categories. Let me break them down for you. In category A, which provides 10% reservation, there are 81 castes, 56 of which were Muslim before this order came out. And of course, the government claims they will not follow it. It will get mired in some appeals, but this is how it stood. Out of category B, which had 99 castes, 41 were Muslims. Effectively, the charge is that all Muslims, regardless of their social or economic status, were accorded an OBC status in West Bengal. Now, the NCBC has been red flagging anomalies in the implementation of reservation policy in West Bengal for a while. After a field visit in February 2023, the body had said that even Rohingyas and Bangladeshi immigrants got OBC certificates in the state. It has also held off recommending inclusion of 87 castes, including 80 belonging to Muslim community, in the central OBC list as the government wanted. In 2023, it sought additional data from the state government to even justify how they have so many Muslim castes added in the state list. Now, this is more of what the NCBC chairman Hansraj Ahir told News18 back in June 2023 when that report came out. He said that in 2009, from 12 Muslim castes were increased to 53 in one go in West Bengal. And post 2011, Muslim castes in OBC lists have increased to 118 till last year. Ahir also told me that Hindu castes have remained at 61 out of this 179 all this while Muslim castes have proliferated. He even went on to say that some of these castes that were added do not even find a mention in the Mandal Commission, so they seem to have been created out of thin air. Only in West Bengal, he said, Muslim castes were double of what the Hindu community was. So why is that case prevailing in West Bengal, and is West Bengal only the tipping point of what is really happening in the name of minority welfare? Are Muslim castes being added to OBC lists in state after state purely for votes? That's the big debate coming up.
पिछले 14 वर्ष से लगातार ओबीसी के आरक्षण के अधिकार पर उन्होंने पूरी तरह एक प्रकार की डकैती डाली है।
इंडिया अलायंस को अपने वोट बैंक की गुलामी करनी है तो करें, उनको वहां जाके मुजरा करना है तो भी करें।
Ajay Alok, national spokesperson of the BJP, Garga Chatterjee leans towards the TMC, General Secretary, Bangla Poco, and political analyst joining us. George Kurian backs the Congress party with us, and Desh Ratam Nigam is an advocate and RSS ideologue. I do thank you all for your time. Ajay Alok, let me begin with you. We've heard what has happened as far as this OBC quota list reservation storm is concerned. The BJP has made its view very clear, but the opposition maintains that, see, there are state commissions, plus there are independent judicial commissions that have from time to time argued that many Muslims deserve the OBC quota or reservation because they are as backward. How do you respond to that before I get particularly to the Bengal issue?
See, Muslim who deserves the OBC issue on the basis of their social backwardness, there are already in the list. But on the name of Muslims, if you start including every Muslim, eat into this OBC pie, where will Hindu OBC will go? This has already happened in Bengal. High Court has slammed that. This has already happened in Karnataka. They tried doing it in Andhra, Telangana. Now they are speaking in terms of changing the constitution and get all the Muslims under one fold, like what Lalu Yadav said, that every Muslim should get reservation. This is absurd. You cannot run this country on basis of your whims and fancies. I mean, this is the heights of a peaceful policy.
But why is the BJP waking up?
And this is complete encroachment.
A complete encroachment, I understand. Sorry, finish your point. Finish your point.
The National Commission for Backward, since it came into existence, it started looking into all the things, all the parameters. And Hansraj Ahir, like what you mentioned, he said it earlier also that this is happening in Bengal, this is happening elsewhere. So we have to look into the facts and figures. You're actually doing a dacoity in the OBC's name, and you're taking Hindu OBCs' rights away. I mean, who gives you this right? Just by merely being a government, you cannot do anything. You have to be under the frame of constitution. I mean, now there is a talks that we are 36, 37 or 38 castes are they are going to be delisted. Now imagine Rohingya, who's not supposed to get a citizenship, he is getting reservation in this country.
But can I
This
ask
is
you,
heights.
why is the BJP waking up only now? In some of these states, for example, maybe not Kerala, maybe not Tamil Nadu, maybe not West Bengal, where there are even religious quotas, for example, but in other states like Karnataka, you've been in power. Why is the government, why is the BJP waking up only now, when you didn't really do much when you were in power in Karnataka, for example?
No, when we were in the power in Karnataka, we scrapped the reservation, 4% reservation.
No,
for
no,
Muslims.
no, you did it only
scrapped it.
you did it only weeks
The
before
high-
the elections were due, and that also was taken
See,
back.
how do you
legally.
pronounce, Shivani, how do you pronounce the elections? In this country, every year, every 6-8 months, we have elections. With the state election and now it's the general election going on. Central Commission for OBC is working for the last 2 years, and they have been dwelling on the facts that which all states comes under this category, and they are accordingly taking the action. Now it's not only the Central OBC Commission, now the High Court is taking action.
Yeah. No,
You
that is
cannot say
the
that in West Bengal it is
point.
done by
And
the
there is a
BJP.
certain indictment in what the High Court itself had said. We should in fact play out what the High Court had said while indicting the state government and its policy. Garga Chatterjee, the High Court is on record to say, while scrapping not just Section 16 of the West Bengal Backward Classes Act, but also the recognition to as many as 77 categories, that it seemed like they were added purely on the basis of the religious criteria, that vote bank was what the government had in mind. It's an affront to the Muslim community itself, that 75 of those categories were of the Muslim community. Virtually all of the Muslim community was added as an OBC. That's an affront to the Muslim community itself. Garga Chatterjee.
So who you said it seems, who does it seem to? Who is this person who is seeming?
This is what the High Court has said in its order while scrapping
No.
the OBC categories.
It seems that all the Muslims have been added. High Court has not said anything like this. No.
The Muslims have,
You're not reading
no,
from
one
the-
second,
you're not
High
reading
Court
from the
has
judgment.
said that it's an affront to the Muslim community that so many of their castes have been added as OBCs.
Exactly. So peace be, when you quote, you also remember where the quotation ends. We read the judgment.
Yes, so
Anyways.
please, and go on.
Yes. So first of all, I welcome the fact that there are many false OBC certificates in West Bengal. Okay, this has been now documented. Huge number of fake caste certificates have been used by criminals from UP and Bihar to get into West Bengal quota jobs of BSF, CRP, PF, CISF, and that is under investigation. Also in the PIL in Kolkata High Court also, same thing. Okay, so there is some problem with the caste certificate giving system in West Bengal. That's one part of the story. It is actually quite a national security issue, this thing. Because if people with fake certificates, criminals from UP and Bihar, will be serving in BSF and CISF and ITBP, etc., it's very dangerous for us people. That being said, this is when you want to make it a Hindu-Muslim issue, or whoever wants to make it. First of all, let me tell you, all Muslims living in Bengal are not inside this list. First of all, that is false, that claim. Urdu Muslims are not here. All these who people came from UP, Bihar, they are not sons of the soil of Bengal. They are immigrants. And as you will know, you have to prove for any such certificate your Bhumiputra or son of the soil status from 1950. So these people who are coming in, be they Hindus, be they Muslims from UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, etc., where there is no work, they are coming to Bengal, but they are not included in they are not eligible to get any OBC certificate. They might be OBC or whatever in their home state.
No, but that's not the point I'm discussing, Garga. You're focusing too much on
I
state
am
lines.
coming to the factual points. You said as if all Muslims in Bengal have been given OBC status. I'm saying you made a false claim. That's
No,
what
I'm not saying that. The court said religion seems to be the sole criterion. The selection of 77 classes of Muslims as backward is an affront to the Muslim community as a whole.
I think you are deliberately mishearing. In your narrative, you said as if all
Forget my
Muslims
narrative. I'm more concerned with how are you justifying the fact that
because you have
77 Muslim
No, I'll
castes
tell you-
were
I'll tell you-
added to the
I'll tell
OBC
you why
list
I will
in
not
West
forget
Bengal over the last 10 years or
You will
so
not let
that
me
have
speak
been now scrapped by the
you
High Court.
started. I will tell you why I will not forget the narrative, because the audience has heard it, so needs a rebuttal. Otherwise, you would not have said that false thing. No,
I
So let
did
me
not
now
say a false thing. I have quoted directly
You
what
did
the
say a
court
false
has
thing.
said.
Be gentle enough to say yes. You might have said a false thing. We are all human.
No, I
You
haven't
can
said a
say-
false thing. I'm not going to be gentle
Yes,
for
you
your
have said
liking.
something.
Thank you
You
very
have
much.
said
Let me
all-
go ahead
all
to George
Muslims in
Kurian
West
as
Bengal
well.
have been
George Kurian,
classified
the
as
charge
OBC.
against
That
the
is
then
false.
UPA government is also that they included 37 of these castes at the behest of the West Bengal government in February 2014, just before the 2014 general elections. 35 of those were Muslim castes, and those
Not
have
about
also
you.
come under the scanner. The charge again across the opposition line by the BJP is that whether it's the Congress at the center, in states, TMC, you've got the left, you've got Congress in various states, they're including more and more Muslim castes in OBC category and taking away the benefits from the real beneficiaries.
Well, Shivani, good evening to you, to my co-panelists on the debate, and to your audience. Firstly, I want to appreciate the fact that you've taken up this topic for discussion today on prime time, and let me make it clear and reiterate for the benefit of your audience is that we are not trying to discriminate between Hindus and Muslims out here. It's just that based on the socio-economic and all the data that is required, specifically the scientific and identifiable data that is required to get a particular caste into OBC category. We are very much confident that that they have passed the test, and that's the reason why they have been added to the state list or be the central list for the matter. Bringing this, the timing of the Calcutta High Court is also questionable at this point in time. But having said that, we respect the order that has come from Calcutta High
Actually, one second.
We will take it in the higher court.
This case has been going on in Bengal High Court, the Calcutta High Court, for 10 years or so. In fact, it was filed soon after the TMC-led government moved to include these castes into the OBC category. It hasn't been filed recently. The order may have come now. Interestingly, George Kurian, the West Bengal government was asked to show documents on the basis of which these castes were recognized or identified as backward. They failed to do so. So what are we to make of it? That is why the court goes on to say it looks like religion was the sole criteria.
Well, Shivani, I respectfully disagree to buy that argument of yours. All I would want to say at this point in time is that that's the sole reason that the Congress Party, under the leadership of Rahul Gandhi, during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, also we have come to that conclusion that we'll carry out a socio-economic survey across the state and the length of the breadth of the country, so that we can come to a consensus where we can give equal representation.
Yeah, that's fair enough, but that will be in the future. On what basis were these castes added is the question.
Well, when it comes to this one, this could be a matter of coincidence out here. It's not narrowing down to a particular community at large. We strongly believe that.
No, come on. Let's not fool ourselves, George Kurian. We've got to be a little bit more honest than this. If 75 out of 77 communities turn out to be from one religion, which is, let's say, in West Bengal, 30% of the population, if the list is so lopsided that there are double Muslim castes in OBC lists in West Bengal than even Hindu castes, and we are told that there are no OBCs in other religions, OBC or backward classes are only in Hinduism, there is a problem here. Let's acknowledge it.
Well, Shivani, we have to understand the fact that it goes without saying that the Muslim community at large has been a deprived community, and all the castes coming under the same community also, it's it could be a coincidence out here. But we are confident we will take as Mamata Banerjee has gone on record to say that we'll take this up in the higher courts, and we are confident we'll be able to.
So you are saying, as far as the Congress and other parties are concerned, there is no question of backing off from the fact that they believe Muslims deserve these reservations.
Yes, it goes without saying, yes.
Okay, Desh Ratan Nigam, your take on this, because the BJP is kind of playing this on the front foot. Almost the entire election narrative has now become surrounded on who deserves the OBC quota and who does not. And the PM has been very categorical in many times to say that I am not going to allow this.
Well, Shivani, let me tell you, out of 77, 75 are Muslims. Now, if you convert it in terms of appointments, that means out of every 100%, only 3 persons from other castes would be appointed, and rest 97 men or women will be Muslims. This is how lopsided it is. And therefore, to say, and the pie is constant. The pie of reservation is constant. That means if you include more Muslims in it, the Hindus will be pushed out, as Ajay Alok pointed out. So therefore, this is discriminatory and against Hindus. And that point has to be taken very seriously, which also means capturing the administration by a particular caste. Islam claims they do not have a caste system. Therefore, this lopsided principle, which is also there, has to be scrutinized and tested in a court of law. And the Congress person who is just Mr. Kurian, for whom I have a lot of respect, fails to point out that immediately before the elections in 2014, 37 castes were included, of which 35 were from Muslim community. Why no socio-economic survey was done at that point of time? Was it not Muslim appeasement for vote bank politics? They are not talking about surveys. What kind of surveys that are? We had a survey in Bihar. What kind of survey was done? We all know. How disproportionately, numbers were increased of particular caste in that survey.
Well, that's a survey, but that has no, I don't think it has any judicial value, because that's not the census. That's a survey, and those numbers don't stand for anything.
Yes, absolutely. But here, the severe indictment by the Kolkata High Court is to be taken very seriously, where they clearly said religion has been the sole criteria for granting these certificates, and your constitution does not allow reservation on the basis of religion. And once this criteria becomes, and I am sure Supreme Court will uphold it, because Hindus remain constant at 61, and the Muslims OBC caste raised from 12 to 118, which is humongous. It is mind-boggling.
And all of that has happened in 14 years, mind you.
Yes.
It's not over a period of 40 years.
Yes, and imagine the kind of appeasement and vote bank politics which is going on, which is very harmful. It has security repercussions for both national and international security. Rohingyas, Bangladeshis coming in, they get their Aadhars made out there, they get their ration cards made out there, they purchase the land, then they contest elections also. That is all becoming too serious.
No, that's a separate matter, but I just want to focus on the angle of appeasement. I'll go back across to Garga and Ajay Alok on that. Garga Chatterjee, you want to address that issue, that this is basically appeasement politics, vote bank politics, that is driving state governments to include a lopsided level of Muslim castes as OBC without justification or backing of their socio-economic study.
Speak, and please give me the same courtesy as you gave to this RSS fellow and did not kind of stop him from talking, okay? I expect the same thing. Number one, huge number of factual falsities are being given here. First of all, this list was not done during Trinamool government. It was done during left front government. Absolutely no research on Bengal, okay? Just to put together for something, a show like 30 minutes, they cannot do research. Number two, all Muslims are not included. Only Bengali Muslims who are OBC, who are backward groups, they are being included, which means there are Bengali Muslims who are not included. Okay. This RSS person probably does not know what is the percentage of Muslims, all Muslims, reserved Muslims, non-reserved Muslims, Bengali Muslims, non-Bengali Muslims, all together in West Bengal state government services. It is under 10%. Okay. So this whole bogey of these Hindus getting removed and Muslims taking all over everything is false. Let me challenge this RSS fellow. 1-to-1. He said there are Rohingyas standing in elections in West Bengal. I want this RSS fellow to name the candidate and name the seat. Can he do it? Open challenge. It will unmask him right now.
See, let me tell you, Mr. Garga
Specific, be
Chatterjee,
specific,
there are enough reports.
give the name
There
of
are
the
enough
ca-
reports
name
in
of the
the
seat.
vernacular. There are enough reports on your vernacular language newspapers on this aspect. And please
You
don't
give
tell
the
me.
name of the
And
seat
the
and
Malda
name of the
and
candidate.
the Malda
Don't-
is your
don't beat
conduit
about the
point.
bush.
Malda
Don't beat
is your
about the
conduit
bush.
point.
Mr.
We have seen
RSS
how
fellow, don't beat
Aadhaar
about
is
the
made.
bush. If you have any knowledge,
the
you
fact
say
remains,
what is the
the
name
fact
of the
remains you
candidate,
do
what
not
is
even
the-
allow
what is
the
the
land
name of the
acquisition
seat.
to the
You tell
BSF.
me.
You don't allow even land acquisition to the BSF so
You
that
tell me the name of the candidate, name of the seat,
Arey
end of
bhai,
story.
there are
To
enough
prove that
for
you
you,
are
but
not
you want to
like
hide it.
other
But
Okay,
you want
can
to
I just
hide
come
it.
in on the factual aspects of at least what we are discussing? We are not discussing whether a Rohingya stood for elections or not.
Oh, so
But
now
Ajay
you are
Alok,
to save Tariq
out of
fellow.
the
So already
77,
come to-
out of the classification of 77 OBC castes which the High Court struck down, out of these 42 were given OBC status by the left government in 2010. Out of those 42, 41 were Muslim castes. We are running that data on our screens. We are very well researched. Out of the other 35, 34 were given, out of the 35 rest, which they were given recognition under the TMC government in 2012, and 34 out of those 35 were Muslim castes, which is why I say out of the 77 castes that have been struck down by the High Court last week, 75 were Muslim castes. Half of them got it during the left rule, half of them got it subsequently in the TMC rule. But the indictment is of the politics in West Bengal. Ajay Alok, I want to ask you a larger question. Is this purely a rhetoric or a narrative for the BJP?
Shivani, let's get one thing very clear. As far as the economic aspect of the reservation goes, we have already declared EWS 10% and they are getting it on the basis of economic. Rest all reservation will come from social fabric. That is what the constitution says. Islamic constitution, Islam says very clearly there is no caste in Muslim. All will abide to Allah. When there is no caste, then how can you divide caste in Muslims? And this is not new. TMC and left, they are both sides of a same coin. Mamata Banerjee, while she was not the chief minister, she used to argue hell like in parliament 2011 that Rohingyas and Bangladeshis are coming and settling in Bengal and left is doing this. She used to say in parliament on multiple occasions. In 2012 she regains the power and she does the same thing what left has been doing. Because she understands that 30% vote getting together, okay, I'm done. And that's what she says today. दूध देने वाली गाय का लात भी खाना पड़ता है. But let me tell you, people like my TMC friend, Mr. Garga, they will be in ruins if this trend continues for next 10 years. You will be in ruins. We have seen the history is there in front of us and BJP won't let this happen. This is for sure. We have our own country. We won't let you to change the demography what you want. Your minister openly says that this is mini Pakistan. This is not a political issue. This is the issue of the question. You are very right when you said it's a matter of national security, but not because of goons of UP and Bihar, but because of the goons of Bangladesh and Rohingya. It's very easy for you to point out before people of UP, Bihar and Odisha, but you don't have the guts to point out at Rohingya or Bangladeshi. That's what I call appeasement politics. Everybody knows how many Sandesh Khalis are there in West Bengal, how many Sandesh Khalis are operating. I mean, the Hindus are being forced to leave their house. They are not getting their due. Take this much and leave the house, else you won't get this much also. This is the situation happening in West Bengal and people are responding to them.
Okay.
Mr. Kurian very conveniently said Rahul Gandhi in his Bharat Jodo Yatra talked of socio-economic counting. What socio-economic counting? In 2012, Rahul Gandhi openly said that yes, we will give Muslim reservations. It's there on the video. We have all seen. It's being played on every channel. And you did this in 2014 February, including 35 castes. What it was? It was only appeasement and a pact with Mamata. Okay, you are now in the power. We will share the government in 14. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And now, after the formation of OBC Commission, which is a scheduled commission, now this thing is going to turn in all countries. It's not a matter of one state. We are going to look after every state, that what state have done what. And it needs to be revisited.
Okay,
and
you
the
know,
courts have already begun so.
one of the impacts of the High Court order is that the national commissions view on who can be included as OBC needs to be followed. It's not as if every state can decide that, okay, we like this caste to be in the OBC, that caste to be the OBC, and they can do so. That's actually the larger national import of what the Calcutta High Court judgment is. I've run out of time. I do thank our guests for joining us. Let's see exactly what happens as far as the larger issue is concerned. Politics will happen on Muslim quota or otherwise, but this is a larger issue that concerns the very tricky issue of reservations in India.